day at an important groundbreaking with Councilwoman Hawkins. I ended my day at a town hall meeting with Councilman Syme in Fairdale. We've had so many fish fries, ribbon cuttings, town hall meetings. We've driven streets together. And each time I'm in your district, I want to thank you all for your hospitality. And I look forward to coming back again and again and getting to know even more of the amazing people that we all have the honor to serve. And with this year's budget proposal, my focus is on how we can make progress on the issues that matter most to them. Because from the very earliest days of my campaign, through last weekend at Thunder over Louisville, folks have told me that they are focused on the same set of priorities: improving public safety, expanding economic development, increasing the amount of affordable housing, and reducing homelessness, strengthening education, providing basic government services like paving, trash pickup, cleaning up our streets and our public spaces, and improving everyone's quality of life by investing in parks and libraries. The $1.1 billion budget proposal that I'm submitting to you today focuses on meeting those needs, making progress on those priorities, and investing in the people who serve our community. Because that's what the people of Louisville expect all of us to do, even when we have some very tough choices to make. And we do. There are lots of reasonable and perfectly valid ways that we can invest the limited resources we have, but everything can't be a top priority. Because if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. And with this year's budget, we're in a strong position to make progress on our biggest priorities. General fund revenues are up about 4% over last year, and overall, our city's economy is very strong. And when I think about where we are and where we want to be, I remind myself that the people of our city elected me to this office on the promise to lead our city in a new direction, towards a new vision of health, prosperity, and unity. And for us to achieve meaningful progress on our priorities, to move in that new direction in ways that can be felt in every neighborhood, we have to take a new look at how we approach our city's budget. Because while our basic values don't change, our challenges, our opportunities, and our understanding of how to approach them will evolve and should evolve over time. As I said, I feel very good about the budget that we passed last year and the results that it produced. At the same time, as we came into this year's budget cycle, I knew that we could do more. And I knew that I needed an even deeper understanding of how the budget works and all the ways that we manage taxpayers' investment in city government. That's something we all take very seriously. And I'm proud to say that we've been very responsible with Louisvillians' investments. So, over the last few months, I've gone through the budget, line by line, item by item, hundreds of them. And I've asked hundreds of questions that I plan to ask every year. Questions like, how long has this item been a part of the budget? What do we actually get for this? Is it still meeting our needs? And does it support our most urgent priorities? It was an exhaustive process, but I learned a lot. I found some areas that clearly need greater investment. I found other budget items that might have been necessary once, but need to be rethought now. And that happens in budgeting. Something gets added to meet a need that might have once been urgent at that time. And it stays in there, or stays there at the same funding level, even when needs, circumstances, and resources change. This happens in all types of organizations, not just in government, in businesses, in nonprofits, even in families. I don't know about your families, but in my house, it's like that streaming service that we subscribe to then At some point in the future, we realized we haven't been watching it, but we kept paying for it. That's called inertia. It's also one of the fundamental principles of science. In fact, it's one of the very few things that I remember from my science classes at Ballard High School. It's the idea from physics that something in motion will stay in motion unless another force causes it to change and to move in a new direction. And that's what I'm committed to doing, to never spending taxpayer dollars on something just because that's how it's always been done. That's my approach in this budget, and that's going to be my approach in every budget that I present to you while I'm mayor. So as we think big and make bold strategic investments, we also have to embrace efficiency, accountability, transparency, and the chance to reset. And in this budget, let's reevaluate how we're executing on our values and on the promises that we've made to the people of Louisville. And that's especially important this year because of the changing circumstances around us. We're coming out of a period when our budgets, like those of many organizations, were enhanced by American Rescue Plan funding, which helped us make progress in a variety of ways across our city. That funding is quickly coming to an end, so we need to work harder to find new investment and new revenue. One way is to maximize our Medicaid and Medicare reimbursement. So we've signed a contract with Deloitte to identify those dollars and determine the best way to capture them. Those recommendations will be coming in the next few months, and I look forward to implementing real changes in that process. Any additional funds that we get through Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement will add to the incredible momentum that we have in terms of investments that we're receiving from Frankfurt. I'm so grateful and I'm so excited that the Kentucky General Assembly just made a historic investment in our city, more than $700 million, supporting downtown revitalization, parks and libraries, community and social services, infrastructure, early learning, and more. In fact, more than $400 million of those funds is going to our partners at the University of Louisville, putting them in a position to take a great leap forward in becoming one of America's best public universities, while also helping our entire city attract and develop talent like never before. And more than $100 million is going towards making needed upgrades at the Kentucky State Fairgrounds and Exposition Center. That investment will help us attract more conventions and other business that will add to our already strong tourism economy. I'm so grateful to our leaders in the General Assembly and our community partners who I saw many times in the halls of the state capitol. And I know that many of you all on Metro Council also advocated for funding from the state. And for that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up and fighting for Louisville. This was a real team effort, and it's paying off for our entire city. And what the legislature saw is what we see every day, the potential of our city to grow and benefit the people who live in every neighborhood in Louisville and also every county in Kentucky. And the opportunity for Louisville to become one of America's next great cities. And those investments overcame politics and produced this amazing bipartisan vote of confidence in our shared vision for Louisville and our ability to make that a reality. That's what governing is. That's what public service is. And in city government, we're in the service business. I came from the service industry, hospitality. And fundamentally, the service business is all about people. People serving other people. Yes, we have buildings and vehicles and equipments of various kinds, but we have to have the right people working in those buildings, operating those vehicles, and putting that equipment in use. And by the right people, I mean people who are passionate, effective, and dedicated to public service. The good news is that we already have a lot of people like that already. Many of them are in the room with us here today. The question is, how do we keep them? And how do we hire more of them? We need more police officers, of course, as part of our work to reduce gun violence and strengthen public safety. We also need more EMTs to respond to medical urgencies, more engineers and project managers to complete our infrastructure projects, electricians to keep our streetlights on. We need to add staff and codes and regulations to both speed up the process that enables development and to monitor compliance, and to add more people to our alcohol beverage control staff. One of the reasons that we face shortages of talent is that people who have skills have many choices. For example, a starting Metro EMT makes $18 an hour right now. EMTs who work for some of our suburban cities make more. In St. Matthews, $21 an hour. Fern Creek, $22 an hour. Jeffersontown, $23 an hour. Even more surprising, we pay our first-year paramedics about $46,000 a year. Fern Creek pays $64,000 a year. Okolona, almost $71,000 a year. We at Louisville Metro government need to invest in our top performers because every one of them has earned it. They earn it every day that they are working in public service, serving us and all of our constituents. And as an employer, we have to prioritize competitive wages and benefits because having the right people in the right jobs and putting them in a position to do their jobs right is how we all succeed. It's how our city succeeds. And so that's why this budget that I'm proposing to you today significantly invests in raises for the hardworking members of our Metro team, particularly in union positions and in critical and hard-to-fill jobs. And again, I've been proud to see that in department after department, we have skilled, experienced professionals. We ask a lot of them today, and in the future, we'll likely be asking even more. So it's the right thing to do and the smart thing to do to pay them what they're worth, both union and non-union public servants. Last year, we implemented a compensation study to increase wages for non-union employees. This year, I'm proposing a 3% increase for those non-union employees. And my budget includes some of the largest raises for union contract positions in our city's history. They do, yes, that's what. They do incredibly important work. And we need to recognize that and invest in each one of them. I mentioned already the urgent need to hire more first responders. We also need more solid waste workers. They fulfill an essential function in helping to keep our city clean and green. In addition, we're creating multiple positions to help with Louisville Metro Animal Services to provide better care for and help more animals find forever homes. We're also focused on streamlining our hiring process so we can get qualified people on the job faster, and modernizing our salary structure so we can make adjustments to address the needs across all of our departments. Having an HR process that can move quickly and efficiently is essential when you're trying to compete for the best people. And these people are often choosing between multiple job offers. We're hiring more librarians and community center staff. It's important that we invest in these gathering spaces that, among other things, give young people safe, supervised places to spend time. And with this budget, I'm so excited that we'll reopen the Baxter Community Center, the Portland Library, and the historic Parkland Library, which has been closed since 1986. We'll improve. We'll improve the safety and cleanliness of parks all across our city. And we'll launch this year a new Park Ranger pilot program. We plan to hire dedicated park rangers to help Louisville families have safe, healthy, and fun experiences in all of our Louisville parks. We'll also reopen the new and improved public swimming pools in Algonquin Park and Camp Taylor Memorial Park. And we'll need to hire folks to staff there too, so that families will finally have a great place to swim. At the same time, in order to make these and other essential investments in our priorities, we have to also look for efficiencies. We can't keep spending money in the exact same way that we have in the past. Because we can't print money, we have to balance our budget, and we're not raising taxes. That's why I've instructed the leaders of all of our departments across city government to make a minimum 1% cut in their least necessary spending. That includes things like eliminating sponsorships, as well as some unfilled positions, and combining or transferring other jobs where it makes sense. We're looking at what programs work now, what could be working better, and which ones aren't working as well as we'd like. And we're basing our budget decisions on those evaluations. We'll do that next year, and we'll do that every year. That same principle applies to how we're proposing to work with our nonprofit partners. We have an incredibly vibrant nonprofit community that does amazing work all across our city. And one way that Metro government has supported nonprofits over the years is through our external agency funds, or as those of us involved every day call it, the EAFs. At the same time, many nonprofits have also sought and received funding for their work directly from Metro government without going through a formal, standardized application process. And I respect the fact that all these community organizations are doing good work and trying to do so much more. There are some programs, like Goodwill's Another Way program, for example, that provide services that are critical to addressing our city's priorities, like ending homelessness. We will continue to directly invest in a few of these high priority programs. But as we plan for the future, I believe we should move towards a more uniform, straightforward, and transparent process by supporting more of our nonprofit partners through the EAFs. And so this year, we're taking a major step in that direction. I'm proposing to increase funding to EAFs in this budget by 25%, and it should increase again next year with even clearer guidance and more transparency. And again, the work of the nonprofits in our city do terrific work, and we will continue to partner with them for youth programs, arts programs, and other initiatives that support the people of our community. And our Office of Philanthropy will continue to work with our nonprofit partners throughout the city to help them develop strategies to strengthen our nonprofit sector. This reassessment is necessary, in part so we can be better focused and deliver on our most urgent priorities, including providing basic government services that are best in class. To deliver on that promise, we need to take the first steps, or the next steps, in critical long-term planning and projects. Because while we have to respond to the needs of this moment right now, we also have to prepare for the future. And this budget makes those investments as well. It also acknowledges the need to do long-term capital planning, because in future budgets, we'll need to be ready to make needed investments, like replacing old fire trucks and firehouses. For example, right now, we have 2 firehouses that are so old and in such a configuration that Chief O'Neill cannot place female firefighters in those houses. That's simply unacceptable. We also need to be able to plan for when we'll fix up some of our park buildings, and we need to prepare to make major infrastructure improvements at Jefferson Memorial Forest, one of our cities and one of this country's true gems, being the largest urban forest in our entire country. Those are some of our long-term capital plans that you'll also see we're suggesting for future budget years. In this budget, I propose that we leverage the General Assembly's contributions with one-time capital investments in waterfront botanical gardens and the Kentucky College of Art and Design, which is going through its accreditation process right now and has the opportunity to be a catalyst for education design in the old Louisville neighborhood, in our entire state, in our entire country. And let's also make one-time investments in Memorial Auditorium so that it can operate year-round, and the Speed Art Park so that U of L students and our community at large has another green space that they can enjoy in a very unique way. We'll also continue the revitalization of downtown, work that just got a huge $100 million boost from the Kentucky General Assembly. To build on and to leverage that historic commitment, I propose a multi-year investment that will change the image of our city and change the narrative about our downtown. We're working to completely reimagine the Belvedere and 4th Street corridor from the river all the way to Muhammad Ali Boulevard. We want to create a world-class destination featuring walkable, livable, inviting public spaces that are also safe, clean, and green, and that encourage not just transactions, but interactions and connections amongst people. And we'll continue working with world-class urban designers and architects to create an iconic public destination right on the Belvedere, one that will attract people from around our city and beyond, attract them here year-round, a destination that will be a new symbol for our city's future. We can do that. We can make that happen right here in our city, in our downtown. And as we reset our budget and reimagine our streets, I think it's past time to re-examine how we approach transportation in our community. And that's what this budget paves the way for. It paves the way for a creation of a new Department of Transportation. This unified team will work on improving our transportation infrastructure, traffic, walkability, and will work closely with TARC and state and federal agencies. Their job will be to make it easier for people and businesses to move around our city quickly, safely, and efficiently. But as always, we're not waiting. Let's go ahead and make investments this year, right now, to ease traffic congestion, improve safety, pave our streets, and improve sidewalks. Investing in transportation will strengthen our economy and support the work of the new Economic Development Authority that we're also creating. As called for recently in our Growing Louisville Together plan, we are building a new Economic Development Authority. It'll be a public-private partnership that'll work with Louisville Metro Government, GLI, Kentuckiana Works, and other stakeholders so we can maximize our city's potential to attract and develop businesses, partnerships, and people more effectively than our city ever has before. And as we know, one critical component to growing our economy is addressing the shortage of housing. So let's continue working towards our ambitious goal of creating 15,000 new units of affordable housing in every part of our city by 2027. And when we talk about new housing, let's do it the right way. That means adding housing that inspires investment and builds community. As part of that work, let's continue the increased level of support we established last year for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, a critical partner on one of our top priorities. And thanks to the extra support from the General Assembly, the Community Care Campus is on track for success and will make it possible so that we can help more families that are experiencing homelessness. With the Community Care Campus and our partnership with VOA, Louisville Metro Government now has the real ability to make progress in addressing street homelessness for families. The master plan for the Community Care Campus is expected to be finalized this month. And now, Metro's Homeless Services Division is committed to working with our nonprofit partners on a plan to support 18 to 24-year-olds who are living on our streets. This budget will fill an immediate gap by providing emergency hotel stays for that age group who need our help right now. That is a step one in our plan to overcome youth homelessness for good. And over the next year, we'll plan to finalize the details on a youth shelter and dedicated youth transitional housing, which will lead to long-term stability and the opportunity for a successful future for all of our young people. Thank you. We are making real, substantial progress to address homelessness in Louisville, and we need to keep that going. We also need to support the Louisville Metro Housing Authority and their efforts to address the urgent issues faced by residents at Dosker Manor and Avenue Plaza. To be clear, Louisville Metro Housing Authority is not a Metro government department. LMHA is a federally funded authority whose executive director and board are appointed by the mayor, but its budget, its rules, and priorities are largely set by the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development. That said, just like me, and just like Metro Council, LMHA must be accountable to the people of Louisville, especially to the people who live in its facilities, because these are our neighbors, these are our constituents, and they deserve to live in a place that's safe and that's clean. Instead, right now, some of our most vulnerable Louisvillians live in and sleep in dangerous environments, in decaying buildings, where they have to deal with mold and bugs and rodents. That is absolutely unacceptable. And I know that there are Metro Council members in this chamber who have been calling for change at Dosker Manor in particular for years, and with growing urgency. Thank you. Your calls are now being answered. I want to give a big shout out to our new executive director of LMHA, Elizabeth Strojan, who's here with us today, who I was so proud to announce as our new executive director not too long ago. And I call on all partners throughout our city, nonprofits, businesses, everyone, to show up and lend a hand when LMHA asks for your help. We can and we will do a better job for the people who are counting on us and counting on the Louisville Metro Housing Authority. Finally, when looking at the budget, one of my priorities is to look for investments that will benefit us in the short term and in the long term, and that will help us make progress in multiple areas. And we have that opportunity. We have that opportunity with pre-K. Creating a path to free early learning opportunities for all 3- and 4-year-olds in our city will be a game changer. And we now have the plan, and we now have the team to make that happen. Last month, we launched Thrive by 5 Louisville, a 501c3 organization nonprofit that is separate from Metro government and separate from JCPS. Thrive by 5 Louisville will use a combination of public and philanthropic funds to recruit and retain the early learning workforce that we need. Thrive by 5 will also elevate early learning facilities and programs, and ultimately offer financial assistance to cover the cost of preschool, initially for families who are making up to 300% of the federal poverty level. This nonprofit will invest in and strengthen early learning facilities that operate all across our city. That includes accredited private and nonprofit preschools, child care centers, and family child care homes. I was so excited to help secure funding for Thrive by 5 Louisville from the General Assembly this session, and I look forward to building on this momentum in Louisville, across our state, and across our entire country. Because the facts are clear. Children who attend high-quality preschool are more likely to graduate from high school. They're more likely to earn more money in their careers, more likely to live longer and healthier lives, and they're less likely to be arrested for violent crimes. I am so grateful to everyone across the city who is part of this ongoing work. And I appreciate all of the people who've responded to our announcement about this with such enthusiasm for this incredibly important work. It's an investment in our children and an important investment in our future. Universal pre-K will help families in every single one of your Metro Council districts. It will also give our economy a boost by helping businesses across our city hire more workers and by helping parents of young children return to the workforce sooner. And yes, making universal pre-K possible means thinking bigger and using the resources of our budget more strategically than ever before. Now is the time to do that. With pre-K, we can get more children in our city, in your districts, on the path to a better life, a safer, stronger, and healthier life in a safer, stronger, and healthier city. That's what we are all here to do. So let's take the next steps to make that happen by investing in the first 2 years of Thrive by 5 Louisville. Friends, I humbly submit this budget proposal to you. And I look forward to continuing our conversations over the next few weeks about how we use this budget as a means to address our highest priorities as a city. I know that we can do that because over the last 16 months, we've shown that in a time when there is so much argument and so much conflict in so many parts of our country and in so many parts of our world, we know how to collaborate. I could mention any number of serious examples, but I'll close with this one, also from last year's Bright Side event. Toward the end of the tournament, the rain started falling. Some folks had to leave, but there was still one more game left to play. And so members of the mayor's office and the Metro Council team joined forces. In the rain, in the mud, playing hard, playing together, and playing to win. Let's all keep doing that for the people of Louisville. Let's all keep doing that for the future of Louisville. And together, everyone in Louisville will win. Thank you all so much for considering this budget, and I look forward to working collaboratively with you to building a safer, stronger, and healthier city for everyone all across our amazing city. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg. At this time, I will ask for a motion for a brief recess. Motion by Councilman Piagentini, second by Councilman Fowler. We will reconvene at 5 o'clock in 19 minutes. Thank you.
Job vacancies is a big problem across metro government. Mayor Greenberg's budget calls for better pay as a way to retain and attract new employees. Job vacancies is a big problem across metro government. Mayor Greenberg's budget calls for better pay as a way to retain workers and attract new ones. The usual priorities for spending are still in this new budget, things like affordable housing, early childhood education, and public safety. Greenberg wants pay raises for EMTs totaling 33% over 3 years. He wants to hire more early childhood teachers, more library employees. All of this in addition to filling 260 vacancies in LMPD.
Probably get you to stand kind of right there so I don't get those weirdo people in the way.
Hi, I hear you. Speak for yourself. We got a lot of work to do between now and 6 o'clock.
I get you to take one small step this way. Perfect. Perfect. I got the flags in there.
Okay. Flip the viewfinder over. Let me see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect.
Perfect.
It almost looks like somebody painted the trees. They're so green right now.
Well, we were talking about that when we were in Indiana. We were driving through. I was like, remember how it was like brown last week and this week it was green.
Filling job vacancies is a big problem across government. Calls for better pay. Greenberg wants pay raises for EMTs totaling 33% for years. He wants to hire more early childhood teachers, more library, all of that in addition to 260 vacancies in LMPD.
Step there. Perfect.
Myra, filling job vacancies is a big problem across metro government, and Mayor Greenberg's budget is calling for better pay as a way to retain workers and to attract new ones. At this point, we're hearing a lot of the more familiar priorities in this budget, the things like affordable housing, early childhood education, and public safety. Greenberg wants pay raises for EMTs totaling 33% over 3 years. He wants to hire more early childhood teachers, more library employees. All of this in addition to filling 260 vacancies at LMPD. This budget comes at a time when millions in federal funding from the American Rescue Plan are due to run out. Greenberg talked about unspecified cuts so that the city could focus on what he called the city's absolute priorities. Greenberg said that revenues for the city are up 4% compared to last year, and he said he does not anticipate any need to raise taxes. Reporting live, David Mattingly, Wave News.
You're clear, Dave.
I'll give it to you. I'm not going to have to do any track since we didn't have time to get any react.
Right.
So
There should have been 2 thoughts about him.
yeah, you need to load the video into your computer, and I'll pull the SOTs.
Yep.
and then I'll put them in, and then you can go do your thing. I'll put them in the scripts, and
Yeah.
I'll get the script done.
Sounds good.
Am I shouting? I've got Greenberg yelling in my ear.
Yeah, right.